François Cardinal, de la presse, accomplit quelque chose de rare et d'agréable dans ses chroniques. Un doigt appuyé sur le pouls du Québec, ses textes sont à la fois personnels et représentatifs des préoccupations, angoisses et satisfactions que vivent les Montréalais. Les chroniques soumises donnent une idée de l'étendue de sa palette. Une célébration du renouvellement de la banlieue par les vieux, ses soucis face à l'éducation de son fils, et un peu de fantaisie sur ce que signifie la fermeture du club vidéo de son quartier pour lui qui est bousculé par la révolution numérique. François Cardinal, c'est Monsieur Tout-le-Monde, en phase avec son temps. The Winnipeg Free Press's Melissa Martin is particularly successful in capturing a strong sense of her city, past and present. She does not simply reflect on the day's headlines. She explores the fears and frustrations of riding the city's public transit system, reconstructs the sad story of a self-proclaimed hobo queen, and shows the passion of an Old Testament prophet in her attack on those who are more distressed by the damage to the city's reputation than by the substance and gravity of the charge, after Winnipeg is named Canada's most racist city. Consistently relevant, witty, and well-written, Michelle Hauser's columns reflect a unique take on the world that makes important issues accessible to readers who occupy a wide social spectrum. Whether she is addressing sex education or the systemic condescending attitude toward the elderly, Hauser's light touch gets her message across without hectoring or lecturing. Her columns are a joy to read.
Michelle Hauser, Kingston Whig Standard.
Well, this is overwhelming for me. I'm a real newcomer to the newspaper industry, and I'm a freelancer, so it really was just a tremendous honor to be nominated for this award and to just even be here among this distinguished group of people. I would like to thank Jerry Knott and Lucinda Choden for making me feel like a member of the Post Media family. It feels good to be part of the family. And I'd like to thank my editor at the Kingston Whig Standard, Steve Service, and I'd like to thank my former editor, Derek Shelley, who was the first editor to say yes when so many other editors had said no to my quirky column that I had pitched back in 2012. Column writing, especially as a freelancer, is a very solitary activity. It's usually just me and my laptop and my pajamas at 3 o'clock in the morning. But there are two people that I need to share this award with, two people without whom I would not be able to do what I do. The first is my husband, Marc Hauser. When I told him a few years ago that I wanted to quit a perfectly well-paying job to become a freelance writer and newspaper columnist, he was like, yeah, that sounds like a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Thank you for being so crazy and for believing in me. The second person, yes. The second person I would like to thank is an old journalist who taught me everything he knew about journalism and then talked me out of ever pursuing a career. And that was my dad, John Douglas Campbell. I have spent the 10 years since his death talking myself back into it. My dad was a radio man. He did start out with the Sioux Daily Star, working alongside Les Payette back in the 1950s and 60s, but he settled into radio. And he, in addition to being the manager of the newsroom and director of programming, he would write a daily editorial every day, once a day, every day, for 25 years. He was fearless, fierce, funny, and he had an unending supply of compassion for the people in the steel town that he loved. And he is my inner critic and my inner mentor when I write, when I'm alone. And that's both a good and a bad thing. I think those of us who have any issues with our parents when they're alive find out that those issues just multiply significantly once they're gone. Last year, I felt that my dad was saying to me in that voice of his, come on, do better. You've got to go beyond this slice of life thing. He says, you've got more in you, give it. And last year, I poured my heart and soul and took risks that I had not taken. And if he helped me to get here, then I owe this to him. And thank you very much for this award.